Hello everyone, my name is Jesse, and this is the Auditorium where I react to video game music for the first time. And today is the return of Undertale, a series I discovered here and have heard a couple of songs, maybe like, I don't know, 5 or 6, something like that. But there's always been one song that people have always requested for or have wondered how it hasn't been here yet, and that is the main song called Undertale. Well, that day is today. But it's also going to be joined by another song called Another Medium, which we'll be hearing first, and then Undertale. This is requested by a couple people, TricolorLink, jumpingwjoy, and Ty, and a bunch of hundreds of other comments on YouTube. These are both from the channel Misaki, and both of these combined have 30 million views. Now, one thing right before I get into this is the only thing I know about Undertale is two things. Toby Fox, and this game is highly, I don't know if praise is the right word, but it's talked about a lot. Like it's a, like if you know kind of thing. Also, a side thing, so a third thing, is people tell me to not look up anything, just experience Undertale someday on your own. So that's what I'm gonna do. I'm just not gonna ask them no questions and just accept Undertale for what it is, I guess. We are starting with Another Medium now. Let's go. Like instantly filled my ear canals. I know it's early, but whoa, this one's way different from what I'm used to in Undertale. Way different. Harmony. If you're wondering why I didn't say much, is well, typically when that happens is because I'm so engrossed in what's going on. That was just highly enjoyable. Like, it had this sort of ASMR quality to it. I can't explain. Like, it was a song for the ears. You know, I'm really glad of that. Every single video I've ever done here has always been with a pair of headphones, just so I can hear as much as I can, you know? And plus, you get to feel it a little more than, say, hearing it through your TV or something, which is also fine, but, you know, it's all different when you have that direct access into your eardrums. And this is one of those songs that kind of just make you, oh, yeah, like, you know, that synth kicks in and you kind of start to feel like the little hairs in your ears start to vibrate a little bit. Not that I have hairs in my ears, but you know what I mean? And yeah, it just kind of like for me, it immersed me right away. It interested me right away, and then as I kept hearing it, it was a mixture of, ooh, like this is really good, but at the same time, my other half of my brain is questioning everything because it sounded so different from everything I've heard from Undertale. The last time I heard Undertale wasn't that long ago, and I forgot what the song was called, but it was the last video. And one of those songs was like one of my favorites from Undertale so far, if not maybe my favorite. I forgot which one it was, but it was the last video. It's really, really good. This one is up there too now, in like the top category of songs I've heard from Undertale, because of the variety that it brings. What I'm used to from Undertale is, well, it definitely has it has some elements of what I know from Undertale, which is like heavy melodies that really stick with you, and unique melodies, kind of bold melodies that aren't afraid to, like the way Toby Fox writes is really just whatever they want, and there's almost like a kind of pushing the boundary sort of feel. But mostly what I associate Undertale with is kind of this wacky synth sound, sometimes quick, very, like the leads of the synths are usually like have a lot more attack on them. This one felt mellow. There was like this chill factor to it. There was vocals, and correct me if I'm wrong, but I don't know if I've heard vocals before, maybe in Undertale, but it's definitely not common, at least not what I've heard. So it was a total deviation from what I'm used to. I'm used to, think of it this way, my first impression of Undertale was Megalovania. And then after that was like Spider Dance, and, so I'm used to, like, those are my first impressions, which will stick with you because they're the first time. But I never thought, a couple years later, revisiting this. I revisit Undertale maybe every, I don't know, there's no set time, but it's always like every other game. It's always like months apart or something. So I'm at the point where I can't believe that I'm still doing this, hearing new things from games that you think you have an idea or like a grasp on. It happened with the most recent example was Xenoblade. I had a very distinct idea of what that sounded like, and I started playing the games, and it's all over the place. It's happened with Persona as well. Like, oh, this is what it sounds like. Nope, just that little section. Because then I always have to remind myself I'm only hearing like little tiny bits and pieces of the entire soundtrack, which it seems like every soundtrack, at least in the past 20, 30 years, maybe longer, probably have over 50 something songs, maybe 100, which is wild to think about. So yeah, it definitely makes sense. I can't really, label a whole soundtrack, but it's just I have really no options. This is typically what I get at the time, and that's just the impression it leaves. Either way, that was really, really cool, and it was kind of short, so I don't know if it just plays for a short amount of time, and because the only reason I'm asking is the next song, the main song, is 6 minutes. So it could just be the uploader, of course. They just looped it more, what have you. But that was really cool. And like I said, I guess I have to just not, try to. I've yet to be spoiled on anything, so I'm taking that as a blessing. Someone gifted me this game a long time ago. I think I've had it in my Steam library for over a year. I've already mentioned one day I'll try it, but there's so many things on my plate that it's just who knows when. So yeah, you can say what you want, but I guess try to be wary of spoilers. I guess that's the whole point of the game, is to not, well, like any game, is to not be spoiled. But I guess Undertale is really don't know anything about it. Anyways, that was good. That was really good. If you want to write something without spoiling, just tell me what you think of this song particularly, because yeah, that was different. And now we have the main song of the game, the one I've been singing all the time. Why haven't you done the song called Undertale? Well, here it is. Now, all I'm gonna guess here is that I'm going to guess one thing specifically, because of the length of it, that this plays at the end. At first, I was going to say, well, maybe it's, the main theme plays at the beginning or something. But I'm seeing the length of it compared to the last length. So I'm going to say it's the end. That's just a shot in the dark. Don't tell me. On this one, don't tell me. But this is Undertale from Undertale. MIDI acoustic guitars. Actually, I don't think there's a single real instrument in this soundtrack. Again, something different, something really nice and ballady. So Undertale definitely has you covered on multiple sounds. The only way I can describe this soundtrack, maybe the game too, I don't know, is like an experiment. Let's try putting an acoustic guitar with a pulsating bass. Let's see if it works. No rules, very freeform. I never know what to expect. I never know. I cannot predict where the song is going to go whatsoever. If this was the first song I ever heard from Undertale, you can imagine how different the first impression would have been. Oh, this is a nice little game of walking in the park or something. But in my mind, I know that this song is supposed to kind of represent the whole game, and that's where it's throwing me for a loop. I have no... I mean, it's cool though. The music is good, but so many questions. Let me know if you played this game without knowing anything, without hearing the soundtrack, just strictly you just bought it and played it. I want to know how your experience was, totally blind. Maybe the most blind you got was someone recommending you the game or something. But when I do play it one day, I'll at least have the music in my head, so it's not totally blind. I'm just trying to imagine experiencing this for the first time. I don't know how to explain the sound right now. It was definitely filtered though, as you can hear here when I went back to normal signal. Yeah, see? For me, this feeling right here, it feels very credits, it feels very... It just feels like what you would hear at the end of a game. Two songs back to back that have never sounded like Undertale to me. That's so bizarre. That's so bizarre. Feels a little bit emotional. Yeah, when I hear this, all I envision in my head is like, thank you for playing, you know, that kind of thing. Riding off into the sunset. So I thought it's almost over, but I thought at this point, by now it would have like drastically 180'd it to like some crazy fast thing. But the consistency of this like ballad thing, yeah. Still changed though, right here. Wasn't expecting that late. I have a couple of questions regarding this series. Yeah, there's like that whole song just screamed credits to me. Or like final cutscene or something. Like even right there at the very end where the whole like rhythm dropped out and it was the solo piano. That to me reminded me of like when you get to the end of the credits and then it stops to show like the last like production studio or something, or like a special things. It sounded like that. Like the whole time I just kept envisioning black screen, white text, or whatever the credits look like. It just has that sound to it. And if that's the case, that's actually kind of cool because, like I said, Undertale to me in my head it seemed like it was pushing the boundaries. Like it seemed kind of like almost like a troll type of video game. So I never wondered until just now, actually, if like when the credits happen, like what would they sound like, or what would they do? Would they just kind of, you know, like would they do something trolly, or would they do something traditional like I won't say like a real video game, you know what I mean, but like a, you know, what you're familiar with. So the whole thing kind of comes together as a whole experience of like a traditional video game. I don't know how else to put it. Mind you, this is just my guess. This could play like in some random like bathroom or who knows. But I think I feel safe with the way it sounded and the title of the song. That it's probably that. And what was I gonna go with this? Oh, that was also the nicest song I've heard from Undertale, and by that I mean, of course, just, you know, emotional and had a bit of clarity sound to it. Conclusion. The one question I have is, mind you, I wasn't always, or I should, how do I say this? I was never fully disconnected from like the video game world, even when I did other other stuff. And, you know, I just had different phases. Like I grew out of it, I came back, I grew out of it, jobs, guitar, you know, just life. But I've always was somewhat familiar with at least what's going on a little bit, sometimes more than others. But the thing with me is, like, I never even heard of Undertale until this channel, which was, I guess, 2021. And since then, I've had this impression of this has been like a giant game since it's released, which I don't even know when that was. It just seems like whenever it came out, it became like a cult classic or something. So I don't know what I'm trying to ask here is, like, where did it come from, I guess? Is this... I know nothing about Undertale. The only thing I know is Toby Fox and the little skeleton dude. So I don't know if this is like just a successful indie project, if it was a It's a known developer. I've pretty much avoided everything so far. And also, I guess the other question is where to come from is like, how did it get so big? Was this a word of mouth thing? Or is it just like how any other game gets big? It's just really good. You know what I mean? Or is even that knowing too much information? Like there's just something about Undertale that seems kind of like mysterious and, I don't know. I don't know how to explain it. I don't really explain it. It's just always confused me and been weird. I guess when your first impression is Megalovania, the floodgates open as far as thoughts on what this could be. It's just bizarre. At the end of the day, though, I think it says something that this song is the main title. Because I'm really trying to imagine, I can't, it's physically impossible, but I can try to imagine if, say, this was my first impression of Undertale, man, what a different mentality I would have had ever, Let's just reverse the roles. Like, let's say I just heard Megalovania for the first time right now. I'd be like, huh? Like, what? I thought it sounded like this, That's exactly what I'm going through, but on the other side. But saying that, I mean, it's not like it's the final Undertale song on the channel. There's still more. But this is the main theme, so it's a little, it's a little special, I guess. It definitely adds more questions, but it definitely shows me that the soundtrack is probably has, I was going to say it has a lot of variety, but it probably has like too much variety. There's just so much going on. Not in a bad way, but it's just, we have like the wacky stuff, we have the catchy thing, and we have the ballady thing. It's just a lot. But I seem to have noticed one particular thing, not including the song, but there's a lot of like danceable rhythms, a lot of oomph, a lot of bass, a lot of it's cool. Like it's stuff like you would share to your friend or share to a YouTuber, I guess, you know what I mean? Which is probably, again, how the like word of mouth maybe came to play. Like you hear these kind of songs and it makes you want to share it to someone else. I could see that. If I'm like talking to a friend in real life or something and they don't know video game music, sharing a song like Undertale would be funny to see their reaction or, something like that. So, I don't know. It's crazy how much I've been able to avoid for this game. But yeah, I just seen people have like gone out of their way to like message me. It's like, don't look up anything on this game. Just play it. Don't live stream it. Just play it. You can record it, but don't, they got all these like rules for me. I'm like, what? So all that combined, you can see how my impression of it is just like, what is going on? It feels like I'm like, I don't even know how to describe it. I was going to say, like Aladdin when he discovers the lamp. Like I shouldn't be here. I shouldn't just like, what is this? Anyways, tell me what you want, but I guess be careful on spoilers. I guess just kind of tell me like very vague stuff, like your experience with Undertale. How did you hear about it? What do you think of these songs? You don't have to go into super detail about where they play, because at some point in my life, I'll play them, or I'll play it. I do know there's another one, I think. I don't know if it's an official title, but yeah, anyways. Toby Fox. I really, really like Toby Fox, especially like in the Pokemon stuff. I just think the way he writes is just spectacular, No F's given. And I think people noticed that. I think these 30 million people noticed that. That it's not very cookie cutter. In fact, it's probably the complete opposite of cookie cutter. It's the bold. It's like we need this stuff. We need to hear more like this. My opinion. Okay, that is Undertale. And the other one, which was another medium, which was also fantastic. I haven't heard a bad song from this game. They're weird, and weird is good because it takes me away from the, what my expectations are. But damn, good stuff. Thank you, TricolorLink, Jumping with Joy, and Ty, and everyone else who requested it. I don't know how many other Undertale songs I have left, but there's still at least maybe, 4 or 5 more. Maybe then, when I finish them, I'll play it. But as of right now, I don't have an official date. Anyways, thanks to everyone that you see here. Thanks to you for watching and listening to me ramble about whatever. My name is Jesse in the Auditorium. Have a good night.